In this video, we're going to talk about disguising your advantage. Why is it important to disguise what you're doing? Well, the fact is that casinos don't like advantage players. Why is that? Well, the reason is that an advantage player is doing to the casino exactly what the casinos do to the general public. A successful advantage player can compound their money infinitely. Casinos do not have an infinite amount of money. Therefore, advantage players pose a very real threat to the casino's bottom line. So, what can they do about it? Well, they can bar your play, they can kick you out, they can make you sign a form that says you're trespassing if you enter the property again, and Las Vegas has actually employed something called the Griffin Agency for many years. And if you make it into the Griffin books, you will find it very hard to find any place to play after that. Now, with all of that said, it's very important to note that card counting is not illegal. Okay? When you are counting, you are playing by the rules that the casino has set. You are using your mind and strategy to beat them at their very own game. The next strategy we're going to be talking about is called Wonging. Stanford Wong is one of the premier authors and leading thinkers in gambling strategy. This strategy comes from his book Professional Blackjack. Now, card counters vary their bet size based on the count. If a counter is betting $5 a hand and then starts to jump up to $2 or $3 or even $500 a hand, even betting multiple hands, this is a giveaway that they're counting cards. Now, his solution was to sit back and watch the deck and wait for it to get hot. He jumps in once it's hot, immediately betting big. When the deck cools, he leaves the table. This is much harder to detect because his bet size is not varying. Now, team play is very similar to the idea of Wonging. It takes two players to pull off. You need a spotter and a big player. Now, the spotter will sit there betting the table minimum. We'll say for this example $5 to $10 a hand. When the deck gets hot, the spotter signals in the big player who immediately starts betting big, $500 to $1,000 or more per hand, depending on what the table limits are. Now, this is the strategy that was being used in the movie 21. Casinos are keen to it, but it's still very hard for them to spot. The next strategy we're going to talk about is using chase systems. Now, this is controversial because they do not affect the odds. Mathematicians have proven that they don't affect the odds, so the general public has come to assume that they don't work, period. This is incorrect. Now, Michael Shackelford from The Wizard of Odds, in a rare quote, says that chase systems can work as long as you have an edge. Well, card counting gives you an edge. Now, I've studied many variations of chase systems, hence my website being called The Ultimate Guide to Chasing. Now, it's called chasing, the progressive system, or the martingale system. They're all pretty much talking about the same thing. Now, let's say that you're playing at a table that has a $10 minimum and a $1,000 maximum. A basic martingale system for this, we'll start betting a $10 unit. So we bet $10, and if we lose, we double our next bet to $20. If you lose again, it's going to go to $40, then to $80, then to $160, then to $320, then finally $640. At $640, we can no longer double because the table maximum is $1,000. This gives us a 7-tier martingale system. Now, the problem that I've encountered with playing blackjack is that a 7-tier losing streak or greater is a fairly common thing. Now, in order to counter this, I actually employed an idea that I got from a ClickBank product called Roulette Tycoon, and I call this the 1-unit progression. Okay, in the 1-unit progression, instead of doubling my money each time, what I'm doing is I add 1 unit for every time that I lose. Okay, so if I'm starting out at $10 and I lose, I bet $20 the next time, then $30 the next time, then 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. Now the advantage to the 1 unit progression is it allows me to go much deeper than I could with a martingale system. Okay, at this point I've only spent $550 as opposed to the martingale system. At tier 7 I was at $1,270. So I'm able to go much deeper. However, there's a disadvantage to the 1 unit progression, and that is once you start getting deep down into this area here, it's going to take you more than just one bet to get you back to profit like the martingale system would. It's going to take 2, 3, or more bets in order to get you back. However, playing this system, it's been my experience that most of the time I can always get back. And in those times when I can't get back, I'm only risking about 20% of my entire bankroll, so I don't end up blowing up my entire bankroll. I recommend going to the casino with just $1,000. If you get caught in what I call a death spiral, then you don't blow up your entire bankroll. Now, I practice on the Wizard of Odds blackjack counting program. I can typically make $1,000 in anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half. Now, in a live casino setting, it's going to be slower because it's you counting versus a computer. That's okay, because you can still make anywhere from $250 to $500 an hour. What other job could you possibly find that's going to give you an income like that? In our next video, I will give you a demonstration on the Wizard of Odds blackjack counting program. I will use the progressive system that I have just described. Alright, we'll see you then.